Well, I'm making a real mess of things today because normally in advance I've got everything sorted out before we kick off. I've got my banners up saying that we're starting and we've gone live. We do our countdown and then in on time at 2 o'clock normally, but we've gone to 1 minute past, and that's because Stephen Miller and I were chatting away in the background, and we didn't have our usual Rachel in the background giving us a prod to say, look at the time, we get ready to go, because he's off ill today, so we haven't got that support. So anyway, my guest today is Stephen Miller. So let's get Stephen. How are you, Stephen?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, it's really great to be here today.
Well, we normally do these hot seats to try and get an understanding about people's lives, their careers and things. So what would be good if we could start off at the beginning when you were young, tell us a little bit where you grew up and a bit about your life when you were younger, and then go into like university. I believe you went to university up in north of England as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a Geordie, as you can probably tell from the accent, from Newcastle, born and bred up here, and lived near Newcastle all my life in a town called Cramlington in Northumberland. So yeah, really nice area. And yeah, I started my life when I was diagnosed with my disability, which is cerebral palsy. I went to a special school up here in North East called Percy Headley, which was a specialist school adapted to support children with severe disabilities. So I went to school from the age of about 2.5, and I was at Percy Headley for about 9 years before I went into mainstream education. And then, I went on to do my GCSEs and my A-levels, and then went to Northumbria University to do my degree in business information systems. But yeah, it's a really great area to live, and you'll get a lot of support up here. There's a real community spirit in the Northeast, and yeah, people love to have success up here, so they really do appreciate their heroes, really. So it's a great place to live.
So you actually went on to work in the NHS after you did your degree. Tell us a little bit about the work you did for the NHS. I think it was in web design and would you say database administration as well?
Yeah, so part of my degree was to do a year's work placement, and I managed to get a job working at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Gateshead, working in the gynecology department, developing their patient database. So I did that for a year. I must have been quite good because they kept me on part time for my final year, and I stayed there for a few years, and eventually I got a job in the information department at the hospital as a web developer, and I worked there for about 16 years altogether, and really enjoyed the work and supporting the hospital and the patients. Um, every day was a different challenge, so it was really good.
Yeah, I'm going to say it must have been quite interesting in 16 years in web development because things changed dramatically over that time in the technologies people were using to develop websites. So, did you find it a challenge as it moved forward through different types of technologies?
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest challenge for us was the fact that in the NHS, the hardware didn't really keep up with the software. So you'd find that yeah, you were getting better software, but the hardware couldn't cope with it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty hard getting that balance and getting systems to work together on the same platform. Um, and yeah, some areas would upgrade before others, which was quite challenging. So you're always having to kind of work in between different versions of software and hardware. So it kept you on your toes and you had to be adaptable. Um, so yeah, when I first started, it was all like Microsoft Access based, and then it started to go on the web and become SQL and that kind of thing. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, I can say they were caught out a lot of the NHS, weren't they, a few years back with some of the exploits against things like Windows XP and things, and
Yeah.
some challenges with that a little while ago. So, tell us a little about how you got into sport, because I think you started quite early on at school, didn't you, with your sport? So, tell us how that started, and how that progressed into taking part in the Paralympics.
Yeah, so I always loved doing sport. My parents were both very sporty and they encouraged me from a young age to do sport and be active. I guess my first love is football, being from Newcastle. Newcastle,
Yeah, I would
you
have thought
don't
so.
get you don't get much option. Yeah, you kind of
Yeah,
grow up watching football, and for me, I grew up watching the likes of Kevin Keegan, Pierre Bielsi, really great, iconic footballers, and yeah,
yeah.
I guess if I could choose one sport that I would love to do, it would be to play football. But yeah, it was not going to be for me. But I guess yeah, I first got into athletics at school. So at my first school, Percy Hadley, they had an after school sports club.
Yeah.
I used to go there once a week. And at that sports club, we used to do lots of different sports. And yeah, one of the sports I did was called the club throw. So for anybody who doesn't know, the club throw is the Paralympic equivalent to the javelin for
Oh, yeah,
athletes. Yeah, so it's for athletes that are more severely impaired and they can't throw a javelin. And it's basically a wooden stick, like around his back. And you can throw it any way you want. So yeah, I would say I was about 10 years old when I started doing it. Um, and yeah, I used to compete at junior level and the regionals and the nationals. Um, and then one year when I was about 12 or 13, I went to the junior nationals and won quite a few medals and got picked up by the England team. Um, and then when I was 15, I competed in my first international competition. I came second, so yeah, pretty good
that's a good
start.
start. Second in your first international, isn't it?
Yeah, really good. Even better, I qualified for the Paralympics. And
Ah,
one year later, at the age of 16, I was on the plane to my first Paralympics, which was in Atlanta in 1996.
so how did you do in Atlanta then? Because you would have been up against stiffer competition, I would have thought there.
Yeah, it was really tough competition. Um, Obviously, the Paralympics is one of the biggest competitions in the world. And yeah, I was really, really young, so I didn't really have a lot of experience of this kind of thing. I think I'd never really been abroad without my parents before, so it was a bit daunting. I just finished my GCSEs about a couple of weeks before the games, so it was a pretty intense time in my life. But I had a really great team around me, and they helped me to stay focused and to keep my feet on the ground. And yeah, I did a fantastic performance and came back as Paralympic champion and the youngest ever track and field gold medalist for Great Britain.
Yeah. So, how much time did you have to put into training then for that first Paralympics? You know,
Yeah,
how much a day, how much a week? Do you train every day or just so many days a week?
no, I would say I was probably training every day at that time. So I have to say, my parents, without my parents supporting me and helping me to get the training and helping me to get the competitions up and down the country, it wouldn't have happened. So yeah, they were probably as dedicated as I was to the sport. And yeah, to yeah, I guess if you want to be good at something, you got to put the time in. You got to be dedicated. You got to practice. So
Yeah.
yeah, from that age, I was training. Yeah, every day of the week. Well, 6 days a week, 2 or 3 hours a day. On top of
That's a lot of commitment, isn't it? You know, 2 or 3 hours a day for 6 days a week. That's a lot of your life given up to it. So I know a lot with most sports. There's a point where you are because you just got a natural ability with something, isn't there? So you can get to this point by just natural ability. It's that how do you get the rest of the way? You know, what challenges did you have over the next series of Olympics to Paralympics to actually get to the next level? What kind of things did you have to do other than just the basic training side of things? There must have been other things around getting your head into the right point, the mindset and things. What kind of things did you have to do? What kind of support did you get from your team?
yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, for me, my first gold medal was probably the easiest in my career. If it can be easy to win a gold medal, but I think in Atlanta,
You say I've got none, so I don't know how easy it can be.
well, I would say yeah, in Atlanta, I was very young, very naive, and didn't really understand, didn't fully really appreciate the enormity of what I did at the time, because when you're
Yeah,
young, you got that cocky attitude, and yeah, you kind of, yeah, you have that naivety about you. And then from that point, yeah, it gets harder because once you're the number one in the world, you're the target. You're what
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
else is aiming to be. So, you know, and you gotta find different ways to motivate yourself, because yeah, you have you're you got nothing to aim for really. You just gotta try and get better and try and improve.
So
For
what
me,
happened? Sorry, what happened then between those Olympics and the next Olympics? Then did you find that a lot of people were starting to really improve, and it looked like you were going to have more challenges, like you say, a bit of a target on your back at that point?
yeah, the event got a lot more competitive up to Sydney in my second games. And also I had a lot of challenges in my life. I was at university, I was doing a full-time degree. And actually the Paralympics, I was working full time in my job in my gap year. So like
Yeah.
I was having to train after work, which was really hard. So it was one of the hardest years of my life. But I think for me, I've always been really good at switching off and like having boundaries. So yeah, when I'm at work, I can focus on being at work. When I'm
Yeah.
training, I can focus on being at training. And when I'm not doing either, I can relax and not
Yeah.
worry about it. And that's really important.
Yeah, I think you've got to be able to swap between different things that you're doing and focus, haven't you? Because I think without focus, you're never going to improve in anything you do. So it's really important that you can do that. But I think, like you said at the end, it's important to be able to relax because a lot of people can't switch off, can they? When they've finished something, whatever it is, whether it's work or some kind of sport, they can't switch off. And you need to be able to switch off to help your body relax and recuperate, ready for the next day's sessions.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing that me and my coaches, we've always really focused on that quality over quantity, and I
Yeah.
think that's true in a lot of areas of life. It's all about what you do and how good you do it, not
Yeah.
like how much you do. So yeah, I think that's really helped me to manage my time and my energy. And yeah, for Sydney, yeah, it was really tough, but I managed to get it over the line. I remember on the day of the competition, my Paralympic record that I set in Atlanta got broken by the first competitor to compete. So I was already up against it, but I managed to get one big throw that was good enough to win the competition and came back with the second gold medal in my career.
So how much further do you get than the second place silver in distance then?
It was really close. It was under a meter, about a half a meter
Yeah.
close. And I
Yeah, very
only
close
had
then.
one throw. Yeah, I only had one throw that was good enough to win the competition.
Had you thrown that distance before you went to the competition in any practices or anything?
Uh, yeah, I had thrown that distance before. I'd actually thrown further, so it wasn't a personal best at the time. But when you're competing at the Paralympics, it's very hard to get a personal best because because of all the pressure and the high intensity of the
Yeah.
competition.
So you're going on for your third Olympics then. So did you have to intensify the amount of training you did? Did you spend more time at it? And in fact, what happens? You say you don't train for 4 years, do you? You must have do you have a bit of time off and then ramp it gradually up and then put all the effort in the year before? Is it?
No, really. I mean, in my career, we've always just looked at one year at a time. So
Yeah.
people talk about people talk about 4 year cycles, which you can have that, but for me in my career, I've always tried to focus on one year at a time, and
Yeah.
I've always tried to reinvent myself every year. I think you have to do that to keep things fresh, and so at the end of every season, we look at what worked, what didn't work, what we could change. Um, and I always have a really long break. So I normally take about 2 months or 6 weeks to 2 months and don't do anything, which is quite unusual in professional sport. But for me, I think my body and my mind needs that break so that I can come
Yeah.
back the next season and be really fully ready to go and give it my all. Um, I think that's one of the reasons why I've been able to compete for so long, because I've been able to keep that freshness.
How many other competitors that you compete against have been around throughout your career so far? Have they, a lot of them, come and gone, or has it been the same competitors you've competed against at that level, at the Paralympic level?
A lot of athletes have come and gone over the years. I've had a few like big competitors who competed against me at 3 or 4 Paralympics, but mainly there's nobody around who has really outlasted me in terms of longevity. I guess I'm probably
Yeah.
the most experienced athlete in that event at the minute. So, but yeah, whoever I compete against, we always have a good mutual respect. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah,
that's
it's
good.
really
Well, I think in any sport you need to have respect for anybody else who you compete against. It's important, that isn't it, to have respect for one another when you compete in any sport. So the last Paralympics were they were held in Japan, weren't they, last year? Were they were delayed, weren't they, because of the Olympics were supposed to be the year before and everything was put back a year because of the pandemic. So how do things go there? Was that a very different Paralympics?
so well. Unfortunately, yeah, it was a very different Paralympics. I I missed out on selection, so I didn't get selected for Tokyo. So but yeah, it was really hard, yeah, for me. It's getting really competitive, and to get in the team, to get in the Paralympic team, um, yeah, you've got to be really ranked very high in the world. Um,
Yeah,
but my event's getting really, really competitive. So I think for me, I'm pretty happy with the season I had. I really would have loved to have got to my seventh Paralympics in Tokyo, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, it was a great spectacle, and yeah, it's really such a shame for the athletes that they couldn't compete in front of crowds, um, because that would be very different.
yeah.
Um,
It's not the safest thing to do at the moment, is it? You know, and I think sports starting to be affected again, isn't it? At the moment, they're talking about some sports after the new year, especially in Northern Ireland. I think Wales as well are looking at not having any spectators for any sports in stadiums because of the situation that's happening with Omicron. So, tell us a little bit about some of the other things you've done. I know one thing you were talking about is Smile Through Sport. So, tell us a little bit about Smile Through Sport.
yeah, so Spider Sport is a charity that me and my wife started together about 8 years ago. So my wife is a sports development officer. That's what she does, and we had the idea that we could put together my inspirational profile, um, and her sports development skills to create an organization that could help more disabled people get access to sport. Um, and that was the idea, really. And yeah, over the last 8 years, we've done lots of great work in the Northeast, mainly in the Northeast of
Yeah,
England, working with schools, care homes, day centers, community groups, just helping people get access to regular sporting activity. it's very much grassroots. It's very much about participation and just getting people active and getting people to experience the benefits of taking part in sport. And it's something that I've always been very passionate about. And I know what impact sport has had on me. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
not,
I
not
think a lot of things, you learn from experience, don't you? And going through an experience, you realise what the benefits are to other people, that you've experienced. So, from your experience with sport, I'm sure that could help a lot of people, with their positivity. And if we look at what people have been up to the last 2 years, we've been a bit restricted in what we can do. So I think there's been a lot more people going out walking, a lot of people going cycling. So there's been a bit of a drive towards some more activity, hasn't there? So I'm sure Smile Through Sport's going to help people get to even more opportunities to get involved with sport.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. It's like opening doors, creating opportunities. Because that's the biggest barrier. I think most most people do want to be active. Most people, yeah, they know that the benefits are there in terms of not only physical health, but mental health. Of like, yeah,
Yeah,
being active, coming together, being part of a group, being part of a community. And it's not about being competitive at all. Yeah, being competitive is fun as well. But yeah, it's really about just getting involved, staying active, and staying healthy. And if we can break down some barriers and help people to start doing that, then that's what we want to do.
but it's not only the physical benefits of sport, is it? It's also the psychological benefits, because a lot of
Yeah,
people, if they're feeling down, anxious, or problems with depression, think sports a very good thing to actually help people, deal with those kind of situations, isn't it? And also, some people, especially now, are quite lonely. They live their lives sat in their home. They work there. They have all their leisure activity. They don't get out of their houses. Some people, so that ability to go out and meet people and compete in a sport, I think would be very good for loneliness as well.
yeah, definitely. It's been proved time and time again the mental health benefits to being active and taking part in sport. They're massive, for confidence, and for connecting to other people. And yeah, for me, in my life, my career, that's probably the biggest thing I take from sport. So yes, I've had a lot of success. I've won a lot of medals, but the biggest thing I take from sport is the confidence it's given us, the
Yeah.
purpose, the desire, and the connection to other people is really important.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I'll put your LinkedIn profile up, because I know you do quite a lot of inspirational speaking, don't you? So you do a lot of what type of groups do you do these inspirational speaking to? Because you talk about positivity and how to be successful in everything you do. So tell us a few kind of groups that you do these events for.
Well, it's anybody really. I mean, I do a variety of speaking. I speak to corporate events, work teams, and like organizations. I've done a lot of work with tech companies in America, so I've done talks for Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and some big companies, and just working with people to just help them to develop ways that they can cope with the this the tough times in life. It's
Yeah,
all gonna have ups and downs in life, and what I really try to help people to do is to develop that mental resilience. Yeah, where
Yeah.
they can cope with uncertainty and change, and they can tolerate stress and perform under pressure. So this is what I try and help people to do. And everything I try and teach people is what what I've done myself in my career, in my life, and all the techniques, all the tools I, I show people are things that I've used in my life, in my career, and things that have worked for me. So yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I really enjoy working with people and trying to help people to improve and get the most out of their life. And yeah, I think if you can do that, then yeah, you can start to really enjoy life.
Yeah, I think showing things through experience, I think, is one of the best ways to do anything, isn't it? So, these
Yeah,
are the kind of things I've used that have helped me with my life. I believe that these will help you, rather than just trying to tell someone to do something you've never done yourself. Is quite different, isn't it? So, it's like a lot of sporting coaches. They're helping the sportsmen because they understand what good looks like, and they've experienced it themselves. And it's the same when you're looking at, working through adversity, difficulties. A lot of people, are, like you say, when they're unsettled, they don't perform at the best rate because they just don't know what to do. They can't focus on things. But if they can actually use some, key methods to get their focus back and put away the problems of uncertainty, they can be much better at whatever they want to do.
yeah, that's really correct. And in my experience in life, yeah, is pretty crazy, and it's never the way you expect it to be, and
No.
that's yeah, you have to be able to accept that life is unpredictable. It's sometimes it's gonna it's gonna go your way, sometimes it's not, but it's how do we develop some mental stability so that we can get through times of turbulence. Like a perfect example is the pandemic. So
Yeah.
yeah, nobody could see this coming. Nobody could predict that we were gonna be in a pandemic for the last 2 years. But yeah, the people who are getting through it the best are the ones that have that internal stability, that can adapt and change and get the most out of a bad situation.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it's we. I think also when it came, we didn't really it was going to be 2 years. We thought it might be 3 or 4 months, and then it could be 9 months or a year, and then like you say, 2 years later, we're still going through this situation, aren't we? Still, and it's there's still we don't have a light at the end of the tunnel because I think a lot of people were thinking that inoculations, the vaccines, would have us out of this by now. But with the mutations that are coming out,
Yeah.
it's just going on and going on, isn't it? So it's really important that people can stay focused and do the best that they can with their lives, even in these difficult times.
Well, yeah, I think one thing I try and help people to see is that there's so much in life that we can't control, and the more we worry about all this stuff that we can't control, yeah, we're just we're missing out on our lives, on what we
Yeah,
can control, and yeah, we're missing out, we're wasting our time or wasting our energy, and I think in my career, one thing that we've always focused on is, yeah, what can we control here? What can I affect in this
yeah.
situation? And then try and put all my energy into that, and that's always been my approach.
I think that's a great one. I'm very similar because my wife gets quite worked up over things, and I always say to her, there's no point worrying about something you can't affect, because it's, putting energy into that's not going to do anything. What you've got to do is look at the things that you can do something about and put the energy into that instead.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you can't change the world, how can you change yourself? That's all I would say.
Yeah. So coming on to something else you've been doing, I know you were planning to do this as a physical thing, weren't you? People to come meet up with you and talk and actually be a host actually face to face. But because of the pandemic, it didn't quite work out. So you're actually running experiences that are video based now around Airbnb and Think Positive.
Yeah. So, it's been a really great opportunity for me to connect to people all over the world and share experiences, share my stories and my perspectives on life. And I'm really enjoying it. It's been really, really great experience for me. And I'm trying to make the most of this opportunity.
And what kind of things do you do with these Airbnb experiences?
So it can be like adaptable, but it's basically I do it like a workshop where I try and take people through how they can develop a positive mindset, a positive way of thinking. And we talk about how we can react positively to what happens in life, how we can cope with um, uncertainty and unpredictability. We look at how we can prepare for the big moments in life, and how we can develop resilience and mental stability. It's about just helping people to align their actions to their values, and make progress towards their goals. I think the key to anything in life is having the right attitude. Bringing the right mindset into each day. And that's what really sets people apart.
Yeah, very true. So if anybody's interested in any of these Airbnb experiences, we've got the link at the bottom of the page, so airbnb.co.uk/think positive. But also, if you want to get involved with Smile Through Sport, have a look at the website, smilethroughsport.com. And you can also go to Stephen's website, stephenjamesmiller.co.uk, if you want to learn a bit more about what Stephen's been up to in his Paralympic career. If you want him to actually speak for you at an event, you can also go to his LinkedIn profile, which is on the page now. I'll leave that for a second. So if anybody's interested in that. Also, if you'd like to join us and actually sit in the hot seat and tell us about your life and your career and what you've been up to, at the bottom we've got mine and Rachel's email addresses. Drop us an email and we'd be happy to have you join us at some point in the future. So just let us know when that is. So coming back to you were saying about goals and things and being positive about life. So what's your future goals? Have you got any? Do you set goals each year? Do you do 3 and 5 year term goals? So what are your plans? What do you want to achieve in the short and medium term?
That's a really good question. But I look back on my career. I don't have any regrets about my career. I had a fantastic start. I won 3 gold medals in my first 3 games. I then went on to nearly win a 4th in Beijing. I just missed out and came second. But and then I was the team's captain for London in my 5th games, which were probably the hardest games of my career because I had to battle against an injury to get to the games. But then after London, I had a big operation on my hip. I came back and got to a 6 games in Rio and got back on the podium to win another medal, a bronze medal in Rio. So I've got the whole collection now. And yeah, I missed out on Tokyo, but I give it my best shot to get there. And I'm really proud of what I've done in my career. So
Yeah, you should be. It's been an amazing career.
So yeah, looking forward, I guess, yeah, I want to try and enjoy what's left of my career. This next year is going to be a bit of a strange year because there's actually no major championships to aim for next year. So I guess for me, it's trying to see if I can go again, if I can improve on what I did last year, and really just try and enjoy as much as I can. And then, yeah, really, I want to try and develop my business around positive mindset, speaking, hosting, and coaching, and helping others to reach their goals and to get the most enjoyment from life. So yeah, really, that's my target for next year. And
I think that's a great thing because a lot of people always focus on like achievements of earning more money and doing this or that, but actually enjoying life I think is a much greater thing. It doesn't matter how much money and what you've got, but actually having the ability to enjoy your life I think is a real thing, isn't it? A real skill, because a lot of people don't seem to be able to enjoy their lives.
And yeah, I think it's really important. Whatever I've done in life, I've always tried to maintain balance and not get too obsessed by one thing. Because I think if we get too obsessed, it becomes a chore. It becomes hard work, and we don't enjoy it anymore. So it's really important to keep our balance in life. So I think, if you enjoy what you do and what you do matters to you, you're gonna get the rewards anyway, because the likelihood is if you're enjoying it, you're doing a good job. And if you do a good job, you tend to get paid. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, I think then the other things is to be grateful as well of things, because a lot of people aren't grateful for the help they get and the opportunities they get in life. And I think sometimes you just got to look back and be grateful for what you've received, rather than jealous of what other people have. That you don't have. It's all about gratitude for what you've had and being able to achieve in your life. But again, like you say, being happy with it, I think is really important as well. Well, thanks ever so much for joining me today. It's been a great chat. I'd just like to put a couple of banners on, well, one banner on about tomorrow. So we've got a last minute entry in the hot seat tomorrow. We don't normally do many Wednesdays, but we've got Michael Logan. And Michael Logan I've known quite a long time. He's now the VP of Sales for Northern Europe for Atos, one of the MSPs. So he'll be joining me tomorrow, but it's actually a different time. We're actually kicking off at 10:45 tomorrow, because I'm actually going to knock it on the head for Christmas at lunchtime tomorrow. So we thought we'd do it a little bit earlier tomorrow to get that done. But if you want to join me tomorrow, it's 10:45, and we'll be going through with Michael Logan, find out a little bit about his career. But again, I'd like to thank Stephen Miller for some great insight into your long career, your upbringing in that northern capital, Newcastle way, and it's been really great to meet you and enjoy some of your success that you've been through. And I wish you all the best for the future. Have a great Christmas and a happy New Year as well, as we're so close to it.
Yeah, thanks, Lee. thanks for having me on the show. It's been
No
really
problem.
good to be here.
Well, if you hang on afterwards, we'll just have a quick catch up when I've stopped the stream, and then we'll just get everybody away now. So thanks. I'll catch you in a second.